Alright guys, welcome back to another video here on the Dividend Doggo Show on YouTube, and I am bringing you back for a weekly portfolio review as well as an update on some of the buys and purchases that I have made this week. And we're going to just from the looks of it, it was a very green week. You can see the portfolio is pushing those like record highs, and it's absolutely wild. I did not really expect the portfolio to kind of rebound. You can kind of see we had like that little dip where it jumped from like 650 down to like 630-ish, and then now we're sitting at 664 ending the week, going into the second week here of December. This is December 11th, 2021. The days for trading are numbered for this year. Like, we are coming up on the very end of it, and it's been an absolutely wild ride. As you can see, every single pie slice is green across the board for all times, which is just absolutely amazing. Obviously, some of them have done significantly better than others. However, we are definitely seeing some really, really high numbers for the portfolio, in my opinion. So let's dive in to the 1 week here. Now, 1 week we had some absolutely astonishing numbers here. We had some dividends roll in, $37.46. That'll come into the portfolio, I believe, in January. That means it's passed through the ex-dividend date and is waiting to be received, and then it'll get thrown into the portfolio. However, the market gains this week were absolutely incredible. I think this is the highest it's ever been for 1 week gains, as this just kind of shot up here at $18,499.67 in total market gains. So that brings us to a total of over $18,537.13. That is a staggering amount of money for 1 week in gains here. Obviously, next week it could all vanish and it could drop down $18,000 next week. I'm not sure that it will, but I mean, no one can really time the market, and this is why staying invested and being invested is important. As you can see here, every single sector pie is in the green. Some of them 1%, some of them 6%, some of them 3% is about the average for most of these here. So let's just start at the top and talk about a couple of things that happened this week, and then we'll dive into the weekly buys. So overall, for the week this week, you can see Coca-Cola had a phenomenal week. Costco had a phenomenal, just insane week. Their earnings were blown out, and they're up. You can see them up $700 on this week alone. Lowe's had a great week. The only one really not having a good week here was Target. Now, that being said, I believe Target just paid their dividend. I'll double check on that. But I'm going to be watching Target to see about adding a little bit to this position just to bring it up to about the 10K mark over the next couple weeks. If it does continue to have a little bit of a pullback, we'll see. I find this one kind of interesting why it was down. I haven't really looked into it too much, but it's definitely one that's on my radar, as it's been a pretty high quality performer for the past 2 years that it's been in the portfolio. Pepsi was up, TAP was up. Absolutely astonishing week for the consumer sector overall. Costco blowing out earnings was absolutely fantastic. I figured they would do okay, but usually when they, have a good earnings call, it's just kind of lately the stocks have been going down even on good earnings. So it was a wild week. In healthcare, AbbVie was up 5.5% this week, crossing up into the 130K mark. And Johnson & Johnson was also up 3.77%, which is pretty phenomenal for both of these stocks in the healthcare pie. Now, AbbVie is one of those positions I have not added to in quite a while, and I still think that it's a pretty high buy, it's just gone to the moon from when I was buying it in the, you know, $84, $85 range. I'm kind of just holding this position. As you can see, it is just pouring money into the portfolio. I think my overall yield is about 6.4% on the dividend yield. They've given some phenomenal raises over the past year, double-digit raises. Absolutely phenomenal position. I'm very, very happy to have been in this position. And I mainly got into this off the back of watching PPC Ian's videos on AbbVie. And I decided to go pretty heavy into it, and that has definitely been a position that's paid off. In utilities, we've got Just Duke. We've trimmed down. We're Just Duke and VST right now, which both of them performed very well this week. I don't expect Vistra to keep going up at the rate that it has been. I'm expecting some good news from them February, Marchish. And hopefully we'll hear some dividend raise news. Other than that, it was just a pretty solid week. As you can see, both of them were up pretty significantly. I do want to add some more to the Duke position over time here going into 2022. Como Money, obviously, if all of the sectors are up, like Como Money should be doing just fine. You can see Berkshire Hathaway was up 3.8%, which is great. And then 1.87% overall for the week for SCHD, which this position is definitely going to climb above 60K going into next year. I plan on trying to get this and sit it somewhere in the 100K mark. I don't know that I'll be able to accomplish that over 2022, but we're going to try. That is one of the ones that I want to raise up to being like an absolute cornerstone of the portfolio. And that's where I want all the money to route should anything happen. You can see I turned Auto Invest on. It's up at 5,000. So I do still have a lot of control over the portfolio because it will only invest if it's over $5,000 in the cash balance. So finance was green across the board, with our big winners being Bank of OZK and Bank of America, followed up by Hingham Institution for Savings, and then JP Morgan right behind it. JP Morgan's had a pretty crazy run up this year. If I look at JP Morgan on the 1 year, this is absolutely stellar. JP Morgan and Bank of America both had absolutely phenomenal years so far. So they have just continued to go up. And I think that as we see interest rates rise, they do have a little bit of a potential wiggle room there to keep going up a little bit. I don't think they'll go up an astronomical amount, but I think they'll continue to go for a little bit. Now, over to the industrial pie, we have 3M, Lockheed Martin, Caterpillar, and Raytheon, all of which performed phenomenally well for this week, with Raytheon being the standout winner at 6% in gains for the week. Raytheon was a position that I acquired. It was the split off of several companies. I think it was Otis and Carrier, maybe. That they all split off, and I decided to only keep Raytheon. So I'm glad that I've held on to it because it's definitely continued to go up a bit, especially in the past few months. So that's pretty awesome. In real estate, we had a little bit of a rebound with everything except for realty income. Now, I did buy in a little bit more Vici, but I do feel like I should probably pick up a little bit more of this. I need to build these up a little bit more. O is definitely on the radar for watching, especially with it dipping a little bit. We'll see what happens over the next couple weeks. I don't necessarily like investing a ton into the REIT pies, primarily because of the fact that I am a real estate investor. First and foremost, we have multiple rental properties across multiple states. And that was my game prior to getting into stocks. So a lot of the money that you see me invest every week in the portfolio, I try to make sure that we're allocating a large portion of our real estate income into the portfolio, mainly for diversification purposes. But I also want easier avenues and dividend streams of income to be coming in for retirement. Now, you do see we have a pretty green sector for energy across the board, with Phillips 66 being one of the stand up. Now, this was at 3.6% for the week. I had debated on rolling this position into CVX or Valero, and I think I'm just going to hold it the way that it is for a little bit longer. EPD was up just slightly, which is fantastic, but overall, energy just kind of doing its thing and chugging along. Now we get to a whopper. Apple, 10%, almost 11% for the week, which is absolutely stellar. Now, I did sell off the majority of my Apple position in this portfolio, and I invested that money primarily into VST. However, you can see Microsoft is also up. Now, do I have regrets about selling Apple in this portfolio? Kind of, but not really, because we hold a large chunk of Apple via our 401k funds. I believe each of our funds is around 5% Apple. So, I think there's about 700,000 in that in the 401k portfolio. So there's a pretty hefty chunk of our portfolio is already allocated to Apple via the index funds that we hold through 401k. That being said, I'm comfortable with not doubling up that much on it, but it's hard to not look at that and have some, little bits of regrets. Now, Apple overall for the year is at about 6%, but when you pull it out to the all-time, I'm at 176%. This is money weighted average, and you can see that I had a significant gain when I sold the Apple position. So, it's pretty phenomenal if you look at the double up that Microsoft has done over the past 2 years. All right, so from the tech pie, you can see, everything is up, and then we are going to go into the monthly dividend stocks. Now, we did add a pie to this sector, primarily because I don't want the auto invest to go too heavy into this, but we're going to take a look at that here in just a moment. For the week, if we pull down the weekly view here, you can see BST was up. PIMCO was just slightly down. Owner's Rewards is slightly down. I just started this pie this week. And then the Stag Industrial is in there at 2.46% up, which is pretty solid. So, what is Owner's Rewards? So this pie is specifically dedicated as a catch-all for the slices that basically are going to be for the credit card that is through M1 Finance. Some of these companies you get up to 10% back with if you are using the M1 Finance credit card. Therefore, I went ahead and purchased a small chunk of all of these companies. So you can see there's like Domino's, Amazon, Walmart, Adobe, Comcast, GameStop, McDonald's, Best Buy, TJ Maxx, Airbnb, UPS, Delta Airlines, American Airlines, Starbucks, Waste Management, Nike, Yum, eBay, Dollar General, QSR, which is restaurants, a bunch of different restaurants. FDX is FedEx, Walgreens, Chewy. Dick will be happy about this. Shout out to Dick Grayson, who's been holding the stock for like years and loves it. Netflix, Chipotle, Spotify, Uber, Etsy, Lyft, Wayfair, and DoorDash. So now all of these companies, every single one of them is on the owner rewards except for one, Waste Management, which I'm hoping that we can petition them to add Waste Management to the credit card over time. That was one that via the forums I was seeing that might get a little bit of traction, so I went ahead and added it to the pie just in case. So basically, I'm holding this. This was about $870-ish that I invested into all of these companies. I did weight them a little bit differently, just to have the money in, not go in perfectly even. because it is 31 stocks divided up amongst 100%. So a few of them would be higher weighted anyway. But yeah, I wanted to go ahead and get this set up and going. I did activate the card this past week and have started using it because of the rewards back on these. So overall, this will end up paying for the fee that you pay to have M1 Plus, and that gives you the extra trading window as well. So you get 2 trade windows with M1 Finance, and that is why I did that, primarily to have another avenue to get 10% back on some of these companies. Some of them are 5 and some of them are 2.5% back. But like the big standouts for 10% back were like Netflix. That's something that I'll likely always have, so why not have a 10% discount? I believe Chewy is also one of those. It's a pretty high discount. We are in the process of potentially adopting another dog. We just adopted one a few months ago, so he's still very much a baby puppy. So there's just a lot of advantages to having it all set up with the credit card. Plus, I kind of enjoy the idea of getting to follow all of these companies as well. So now I don't plan to have Auto Invest add a bunch of money to this particular pie. So overall, what I'm going to do is I'm likely going to dial this pie down 1%, which I'm going to go ahead and do that right now so that I'm not going to forget about that. And we're just going to up Como Money 1, and that's it. We're just going to save that in case you're ever curious. That is pretty much how easy it is to get that updated. So other than that, we're going to go into, we were looking at the total weekly. Amazing across the board. I did have some buys throughout the week. As you know, I had the new positions. That was just under $870 for those 31 buys. And I showed that to you. The other thing that we had were some dividends rolled in for VLO and Microsoft. And I went ahead and bought a share of Microsoft, combining the dividend and some cash funds to add an entire share. Instead of just letting the dividend drip roll in, I decided to go ahead and just buy an entire share of Microsoft with it. And then VLO, I went ahead and added just a bit more than what was the normal dividend. I think it was, what did it come out to? I think the dividend, yeah, it was 41.42. So I went ahead and added 3 more shares of VLO in combination with the dividend that rolled in. And that I greatly appreciate those of you who are using the referral bonus. You do get $50 for using the referral link, and it gives me $50 to invest in the portfolio as well. So you invest $100 setting up your portfolio, and you get 50 more, and I get 50 as well. So it's an absolutely amazing promotion that's been going on for December. So you've still got several weeks where you can take advantage of that if you're interested in it. There are a lot of perks to using M1. It is more of a long-term investing and holding platform versus a day trading platform, since there's only one trade window unless you are a paid M1 Plus member. Then you get a second one. But overall, this is a buy and hold platform, and I hope that all of you who are using it and use the referral greatly enjoy it. It's absolutely amazing to get those promotion things in. I don't expect anyone to use them, but it's absolutely amazing that y'all are starting your journeys with investing on M1 and getting started and going. It's absolutely the hardest part, getting started and being consistent and investing every week. It is quite difficult to keep up, and for most people, just getting started is the hard part. So thank you very much for those of you who have used that. All of the likes, the comments, the subscriptions, absolutely amazing. The channel's seeing growth, and I'm absolutely loving it. As you know, we did monetize the channel and that just happened about 2 weeks ago. So I wanted to give you a little update. So far in those 2 weeks, we've earned about just under $18 in AdSense income from YouTube, and I will give you an end of month review when we get closer to the end of December to give you an kind of an update on where we go for that'll be the entirety of the year's earnings for Google. And we'll see exactly what YouTube will end up paying me for the month of December for the channel. So I'm going to try to incorporate that as another little added bonus to show you what a small channel does earn in income. And then we'll figure out what to do with it from there. So I do want to say thank you very much again. I hope that y'all were invested this week and got some of these amazing returns from the market, and continue to invest. And I hope that everyone has a happy holiday coming into that. We're in that season where it's almost Christmas time, Hanukkah, all of the different things that are celebrated across the world. I want everyone to have a happy holiday, and I will see you the end of next week for another video update on the weekly performance of the portfolio. Drop a comment down below. Let me know if you bought anything this week, and if you have any plans for next week to buy. Let me know what you're picking up. I'm super curious. As always, thank you for watching. This is the Dividend Doggo Show, going out for the day.